Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talk Evening Edition Show. And my name is James Slim Overton, and I'm here with co-host Leah Drake Stitt. Doesn't she
Good
look
evening.
beautiful? And Thomas the Colonel Chapman, and he would be beautiful too if he was on.
On the screen, we can see his face. We can
And
only
by
see
me
his
saying,
face.
yeah, by me saying beautiful, he might not want to come on. I might have sort of used the wrong term on him there. But anyway, welcome everybody. I hear you. Welcome everybody to the show tonight, and we have a special guest with us, and her name is Karen Robertson Ray.
Oh, Lord have
Grace.
mercy.
Grace.
Yes.
In this day.
I'm a
James,
hundred percent.
James
I'm
will
a
mess
hundred
a
percent.
name up like nothing else.
Well, I have to be consistent. If I mess
Yes,
it
but
up
very
last week, I
consistent.
have to mess it up
You're
again.
extremely consistent, my friend.
Yes, indeed. And she's a Portsmouth native. Attended Woodrow Wilson High School. She kind of passed up on this. I don't know what happened, but you don't have to explain that. Probably zoning probably had something to do with that. And also attended Norfolk State University, and you have some fellow alums up here.
Hold the
And,
green
and
and gold.
yeah,
Yeah.
and, go. And furthered her educational career in a lot of different fields, and she'll talk about that. She's in one field, but it'll be interesting for her to talk about the other uh, degrees or certificates she got in completely different fields, but how it all comes together and what she's doing now. And I want to say a pleasant good evening to you, and thanks for agreeing to be on Portsmouth Coffee Talks evening edition tonight. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Yes, one thing I want to say, when we were talking earlier, seemed like your audio was going in and out. Eh, are you having an issue on that end that you know of,
No,
or
I
is it
don't.
volume all the way up?
Yes, it's all the way
Okay.
up.
It's
But
it has a little distortion to it.
Yes.
should I get a little closer? Is it better if I get a little closer?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go out. But anyway, welcome to the show. And we wanted last week, our last show, we had a young lady on, and she was also from Portsmouth, born and raised from humble beginnings. And it just so happened the schedule turned out this way. We have another person. She was Craddock, Leah
Uh,
Wilson. So we dispel all those rumors about all those sayings that we only have greyhounds on our show. We are equal opportunity high school
Yes, we are.
campus. So we do have a lot of greyhounds. But anyway, welcome again. And so talk about, I mean, if you want to start, you went to Woodrow Wilson, and you grew up in Lincoln Park, you
yes.
know, and just like the Colonel said to the young lady last week, it's not where you start, it's where you are
Finish.
now and where
That's
you're
right.
going in the future. So
Let's
Hmm.
talk about those humble beginnings, and were you always interested in? Well, I didn't mention your businesses. I didn't mention it, and were you always interested in those fields or going into that that sort of business,
well
hair
when I was
salon?
young when I was younger, I wasn't interested in going into hair at all. I thought I was going to be an optometrist or
Your voice, your volume is going out. Can't hear you.
how about now?
Mm,
Yeah, we hear you, but it's a little low.
it's
I,
low.
I, are you using the speaker on the computer, or
Yeah, the speaker on the computer.
do you have earbuds or something like that? Because sometimes if you use that, the sound comes through there.
Let me see.
There
Let
you
me.
go. Yes,
It came back in.
it came back
Yeah.
in.
I don't know why it's going out then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, yeah, I grew up in Lincoln Park, and I wasn't interested in hair. Thought I would be working with the mentally disabled or an optometrist. That's all I could say I was going to be when I was younger. But I always did hair, so my mom had to, teach me how to press it because I kept pressing it, even if she told me not to. I would press my hair and burn it. So at 9, she showed me how to press my hair,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't
Did
know.
you burn in the ears while you were doing that, honey?
Oh, I used to tell my sister to hold her ear so I could burn her finger.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah, I did. So yeah, when I went to Germany, I was stationed in Germany. I was doing a lot of hair, and so I decided when I come home, I would get my license to do hair.
Mhm.
That's really how I got started doing hair. So I purchased my salon in 2004 and named it The Remedy. And that is basically what I'm doing now is remedies. So because of a lot of things, you see people's hair coming out, although you're doing everything right, their hair is coming out. So I started going to schools, different classes at trade shows, and found out that that was called trichology. And so I took a trichology course. But before I even took the course, I went to Norfolk State to study pharmacy tech. I wanted to know about medication and hair. And that was my reason to go. My teacher let me come back a second year to actually, she was intrigued by that, to take another course again. And she didn't charge me to come to class. So then I went to trichology class, and it was in Georgia. I flew back and forth to Georgia. It was not online. And I became the first trichologist practitioner certified through the AMCA in the state of Virginia history. And trichology is the study of hair loss and scalp disorders.
Okay.
So from there, I realized that, you know, it was still more to come because, you know, I could see these hair loss episodes, and you could tell that you're missing something else. A person is missing something when that hair is coming out, and you could hear God clearly saying, take it further. So I became a nutritionist, nutritional consultant through Trinity School of Natural Health, and went back to Norfolk State for phlebotomy, because in phlebotomy, you're going to do PRP therapy, platelet-rich plasma for hair. So you draw blood and you inject these cells into the scalp. It's like stem cell replacement. And then I went back to Trinity and became a board certified naturopathic doctor. And here I am. And my next move was open a beauty supply store.
And Karen, if you can, and if you don't mind me calling you Karen, if you can move kind of center a little bit more, so we can see.
Okay.
So
we only got a slice of your beautiful face.
It seems like you said you could hear me when I was over there. That's why I went over there.
Now you're back.
Yeah, let's try it like that. But I didn't want to interrupt the information you were giving us there. And wow, that's why I said all those things you did will come back, into play is what you're doing now, especially the pharmacy part. People like pharmacy, how she end up in hair? But like you said, you wanted to study medication and how that affects, And when people come into your salon, it's just not about, can you give me this style and everything. People come in there with actual issues that you can address. And you can't get that in every salon.
Right. I've had two people that actually, I worked at Virginia Dermatology for 7 years because they didn't have a trichologist. And when I wanted to meet Dr. Johnson, Brian Johnson, who was owner of the dermatology center at the time, I want to meet the person I'm going to send my clients to. I didn't want to just send them to anyone. And so when I met him and we talked, he really thought that was great that I was the first trichologist practitioner. He didn't have one, so he asked me to come there and work. So I worked there only on Mondays because I told him I could not stop working at my salon. So I had two people come in and their hair loss was so vast, and I wanted to get, labs drawn on them to see, what was going on. So I asked them to please get blood work immediately, and both had cancer. So your hair, it tells you so much. It's such a barometer. It tells you so much about the body, different things, different occurrences. Like one thing I learned in pharmacy tech, when you lose that hair on your occipital bone, that's a heavy metal overload. Well, she lets me know that it was from shots. I told her my client was losing her hair. Only thing different she did was take some shots, and she said, you're absolutely correct. And then from there, I started studying it and found out that it was a heavy metal overload, and it causes another type of hair loss. So it was really interesting.
So when it's a heavy metal overload, what does a person have to do in order to correct what's taking place in their body?
You have to do detoxing. You detox that metal, and also you have to watch what else you eat that would have heavy metal in it. Like, for instance, fish has mercury.
Yes.
So you would have to watch that. We all have the metal in us, but when we have that overload, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just your hair that it's affecting. It affects your hair, is just telling you, but it affects your body. So a lot of people don't understand that is a way to have liver problems, heart problems, lung problems. You know, it's different things that cause it.
So just as they used to say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, it seems the hair is the window to what's taking place in your body.
Yeah, definitely lets you know. It definitely lets you know. If you know what you're looking at, it will tell you a lot. And the eyes is really that's iridology. I actually learned that in naturopathic doctor. I had a client in California, and he's from here, but he lives in California. And so he was telling me about his hair loss, and I asked him to send me a picture of your pupil, and he did. And I said, you have a liver condition. And he said his doctor told him that. So it all still ties in together. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What do you say about there's so many people now I'm seeing with alopecia?
Yes. Alopecia means hair loss. That's the medical term for hair loss, just as, you know, high blood pressure is hypertension. So I always tell them when I do seminars, I always say, when you have to go to the doctor and you have hair loss, you go in saying, I have alopecia. Because if you go in saying, my hair is coming out, the doctor's going to say you have alopecia. But actually, you told him that before when you went in there. So if you say you have alopecia, then he's forced to tell you what kind of alopecia you have, because there's so many different kinds.
Wow.
And just one more question, James, before you go.
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Once you have alopecia, is there anything that can be done to reverse what's going on with that hair loss?
Depending on what type of alopecia, yes. That is great. That's a great question. Some of the alopecias, if it's a scarring type of alopecia and it's already scarred the scalp, no. But if it's not a scarring type, yes. So I had an older lady that came to me. She was going to EVMS, to a doctor I knew there, for 6 years, and she would get injection. And she said the doctor told her if it comes back, it'll come back gray, but she hadn't had any comeback. When the doctor left the area, she decided to see me. That's how she told me she got to me. And in 6 months' time, her hair came in, and I put her on my PowerPoint. So her hair loss was reversible, but a lot of, and not to dog a doctor at all, because we need them, but a lot of the doctors work on the outside. Because I went nutrition, I could work on the inside.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
So that told me that what she was doing, you know, per the inside, help with her hair.
Colonel, you want to chime in there?
Colonel?
You want to chime in? Well, anyway, Colonel, don't know where he is, but what about, you know, the alopecia and the hair loss? And how early does that start? I mean, can you see that in very young? And it's girls and guys, right? Or it's mostly with women? Okay.
Yes, it's girls and guys, and you can't.
And that's different from natural, you know, baldness that
James says
usually is
alopecia.
hereditary. No, I didn't have alopecia. I just, you know, had heredity.
Yes, and that's called your alopecia. Could be when it's heredity, it could be androgenetic alopecia, or it could be central centrifugal alopecia. So both of them are hereditary, and both of them are in the female male pattern of hair loss. So I've had people with androgenetic, if they catch it early, they can get it come back. The youngest person I've seen with hair loss was 9, and she had the female pattern of hair loss. What was causing it to start so early was she had seborrheic dermatitis that was really causing her hair to come out, and it was thinner in the top than anywhere else. And she was 9. So that seborrheic dermatitis can lead her into juvenile diabetes.
Make you go bald?
I'm sorry?
I said the women that are doing all these braids, does that pull your hair out and make you go bald over time?
Yes, if you keep doing it constantly and it's pulling, yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
They lose a lot of hair.
I've seen some so tight it makes my head hurt.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what made me go natural. I had my hair braided one time, and I could not put my head on the pillow. I had to
can't lay down.
Put my head, and I said no.
Yes, I hear that so often.
What would you say to because it's very fashionable to do, and what would you say? Well, how would you approach that if you wanted to do that? You said if they do it all the time, so you're suggesting have it and then come out of it every once in a while and let your scalp breathe or whatever it needs to do, instead of a constant tightness of
well, my first suggestion is if someone's braiding your hair and they're braiding tight, you need to stop. You need to get up, because it doesn't need to be tight, period. Mm-hmm. So even if you let it braid, if you let it sit, the braid sit for, let's say 2 weeks and it's constantly tight, it's still causing damage. Mm-hmm. It's going to be damaged. So if they braid and it's not tight, it would be okay. But if it's tight, we're going to have a lot of loss, especially when you're taking it out and you start combing, you have this extra hair coming out, extra hair. Then you'll know that that's what caused it. I actually had a patient that came in and told me that her edges were gone because she got braids and she grew it back. And then she said she got braids again and grew it back. And then she got braids again. And I said, so you did it a third time? And she said, so why won't it come back? I said, well, if you treated me bad, I wouldn't come back either.
That's true. That's
constantly treating it bad, it's not going to come back. So if it's tight and it's pulling, and then also if a person has a low deficiency, let's say vitamin D is low. Vitamin D, you can lose a hairline quick with vitamin D. And if you have braids or anything pulling, even if it's just a little bit, doesn't feel tight to you, but to your hair is super heavy, you're going to lose your hair easier than a person who doesn't have a vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah, somebody need to tell Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
It might have been a little too tight because it's full. Anyway, look, how long do you have baby hair? I hear people talking about, I still got my baby hair, and they've been on this earth 45, 50, 60 years.
Right. Baby hair is gone when the toddler stage is gone.
Yeah, after when you cease to become a baby, I mean,
right.
That's when you, but it's a popular term. I guess it's a style or something like that. So
yes, the hair around the edges is vellus hair. So vellus hair is a thinner hair. The thicker hairs are terminal hairs, and that's just what it is. It's, you're not a baby for those vellus hairs.
But one other question. Go ahead, Leah.
Why is gray hair so much coarser and harder to handle?
Uncontrollable.
Regular hair, if it's your hair, it just turns gray, and then all of a sudden you can't do anything with it. What's with that?
Okay, so
Leah, it's like old people. You can't do nothing with us.
Can't do nothing with us.
We get to a certain point, you can't do nothing with us.
So gray hair, all hair is birthed in the papilla, like under the scalp in the papilla, is actually birthed gray. And then as it comes out, the color receptors catches it and you get color. Now I had an 11-year-old, her hair on the ends were gray, but close to her scalp, it was colored, her dark color. So it missed the color receptors coming out, and then it caught the color receptors halfway out. So this was amazing to me that I saw that. So when you get older, you start losing the ability, of course, like we lose a lot of abilities, we lose nutrients. And gray hair actually can be slowed up by vitamin A and E. So when we're lacking our nutrients, we're going to get that gray hair faster. So gray hair comes out and it has an extra cuticle layer because it lost its color. So the extra cuticle layer makes it tougher. Isn't that amazing?
That's
I was
amazing.
like, God made that body perfect. So it protects the hair.
I'm telling you, that's for sure.
Stands up. It stands up. Try to put color on it. It's the one that's standing up and
it's standing on its own. It don't even want to take the color. Don't want to take the color. It wants to move it, do its own thing.
That's right.
Colored hair, still gray hair. Anyway, before we go on, because the other topic is very important as far as your business now that you have enforcement. But I want to ask too about, and believe it or not, back in the 80s, I was a Jerry curl guy.
Me too.
And the chemicals you had to put in there, you had to run to the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that had something to do even with the heredity I had that took my hair out, or damaged it, because I had my hair long after I had the Jerry curl, but it was unmanageable and it wasn't great. But but I see glue being used on some styles of hair, the finger wave and all that stuff. And even now, to put in certain tracks, the glue, how does that affect? I mean, all that kind of stuff that it seems like a normal to do. And a lot of salons are using natural products now, as opposed to some of the chemicals that really work miracles, but in the long run, it's not good for you. Right. So all that has something to do, and people need to be educated. You want that style, but you have to know what you're doing, or go to somebody that's going to, look at you individually and tell you what you need to do to your hair.
Yes. I always say, don't treat everybody like a cookie cutter. You have to be individual with the person. So I have an article when I was in trichology school, we had to do extra credit. And I have an article of a lady who she constantly glued her hair in and she died from it. And my teacher actually asked me, let me have that article, because it was very interesting, because you constantly put that glue on. You got to think, what if your skin is more porous than another person's skin? You're sucking up that glue. You're actually taking in the fumes and the chemicals from it far more than another person. So you can't treat everybody the same. And so just the chemical reaction of the glue itself, the chemicals that they use in the glue, caused her death. So you can't do everything the same. I don't use the glue at all. The smell of it actually makes you know something's up with that. And I like the fact that a lot of people are using the natural products and sulfate free and paraben free. That's wonderful. It actually helps a lot with the hair growth. We had to do 50 ingredients in retail product that will cause hair and scalp damage. And there was 8 of us. So collectively, we all had 50 ingredients. And one of my words was, I cannot pronounce it. It was started with an M and it was about 15 letters long.
When it's that long, it's not good for you.
Exactly. Exactly. It was banned in China and Japan because it caused birth defects in unborn and caused dementia in the elderly. But yet we had it in Clairol, Pantene, Pro V, every retail product, we had it in there.
And plus, we don't take the time to read the labels to see what ingredients are in the products.
That's
we don't do that. We
don't. Yeah. We really don't. Yeah. We don't even do that with our medication.
Right.
Yeah, it could be cement mixed in there. We have one of our watchers, Keith Brown, that says he's bald on the top, and how can he get his hair back now? Toupee comes to mind. So what do you say?
So it's always a matter of why your hair came out. It's not one cut answer. It's never that. Every person's different. So it's always a matter of why the hair came out. A lot of people come in and they do bring their blood work. So I can read their blood work and tell them. We got people who hair loss because of anemia and they didn't know they were anemic. They go, and if you're anemic and don't pay that any mind, it goes into a thyroid problem. Anytime you have anything in the endocrine system to go astray, you're going to have some hair loss. Endocrine system houses hormones. Hair is very hormonal. It could be any type of deficiency in a nutrient. We don't know. So you have to know what's the cause, and then we get to the root cause. That's when my consultation comes in, because I sit and talk an hour with you. And then you go from there. We look at it, how long has it been gone? If it's gone a really long time and it looks like it's scarring, I could tell you then it's not going to come back.
And you know what, James, I know we want to move to the next topic, James. I just have two questions.
No,
I need to ask.
Stay there. We got time.
Two questions. Some of the ladies on my mother's side of the family had where they would lose the hair, the balding in the top part of the hair. Now, is that genetic for the men? They used to say back in the day that if your mother is balding on top, that the men will be bald later on. Is there any truth to that, first of all?
Yes, it goes about 85 to 90% that way. If it's the male get it from the mother and the female can get it from the father.
Praise be. Thank you for my daddy. Thank you, daddy.
That's for androgenetic. And then for the other one, it looks like the female male pattern, but it's scarring. That's the CCCA. That one can come from either side of the family.
And my next question is, I have locked my hair, okay? And my hair has grown excessively. You know, I've cut it and it still continues to just keep coming. But I've had friends who had hardly any hair growing up. But once they lock their hair, I mean, it's growing, it's full. And is it because we're not putting the chemicals in our hair? You know, we're not using the comb and the brush to detangle our hair. You know, what's with that?
It could be a number of things. So growing up, I had a girlfriend growing up. Her hair was always probably about 2.5, 3 inches long, as you know, her pictures. I didn't grow up with her, but she told me that. But when I started doing her hair grew. It was like 6 inches, 7 inches, and she said she's never had that hair. So growing up, I don't know what she was doing or how her hair was being treated. So even though she's not locked, and I have a client right now that came to me with her hair here and said, if you can't do anything with it, I'm going to relax it. And I said, please let me do it. It was there on her chin. Her hair now is at her waist and she's not locked. So it has a lot to do with what you did to your hair. What were you doing? How was it being treated? How were you, and that can start from foundation. I mean, from shampoo to conditioners.
Yes.
You know, people use the wrong shampoo and use conditioner the wrong way. You're not supposed to put conditioner in your skin. Conditioner is not made for your skin. It's made for your hair. So you put it in your scalp, you clog your pores. We growing up, we used to love the tar grease. But
come back to us. Come back. We lost you again.
You lost me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So growing up, we used the tar grease, and that tar grease was thick. And now we know better, because the smaller the molecule.
Tar grease.
Yeah, you get in the sun.
That sounds like something you patch potholes with.
Yeah, you smell like the street when you got in the sun. The sun would melt it, and that was too thick. So now we know better, because we know that a smaller molecule will sink into the cuticle layer a lot better. So it has a lot to do with what were you doing when you were younger. And some people just don't need to do their hair, their own hair. Let somebody else do it. It's not your lane.
Exactly. Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Karen, you have this business now that you recently opened in the city of Portsmouth on airline called Textured. What is it?
Textured Crowns.
Textured Crowns on Airline Boulevard. And explain what that business is, and we'll get into how challenging that might be, and why it's challenging for a Black businesswoman to be in that actual area of business as far as hair is concerned.
So Textured Crowns is a beauty supply store, very much the same as the beauty supply stores that most people know as Asian descent have, Koreans, I don't know. And I always talked about it in seminars that if you can't do hair, but you love the beauty industry, that's a great industry to go into because you're still in the beauty industry. So I wanted someone to open a beauty supply, and and nobody did. So I said, well, let me open a beauty supply. So I did, and it proved to be very challenging because they really don't want you to have a piece of your own business, basically. It's all of us that goes into the beauty supply stores, but they did not want to sell to me wholesale. And when they do sell to me wholesale, they called, if I email, they call to see, am I Black? And my prices.
What did they actually ask that, or they jumped around it, or they came straight? They want to hear your voice.
They kind of jumped around it. So like I put in, like, for instance, I'll put in a email to a company and send in all my credentials, everything's good. But then they'll call me and say, hi, I just wanted to tell you that I sent you an email. And I'm like, okay, what did it say? And when you order something, you call me and I'll give you the pricing. They don't want to give me pricing up front. So now she calls for no reason, but she wants to hear my voice to see if I'm Black. And the pricing, she's not going to give me a price list. She's going to price me as I purchase, because I can go in a beauty supply and see a pack of hair for $1 for sale, but yet I purchased it wholesale for $2.
Wow.
So I know what they were doing. And
that's supposed to be the other way around.
Right.
Supposed to be the other way around.
So, right. I have people that come in and say, I'm coming here. I don't care if it's higher. And I really appreciate that, because that's the only way we could stop them from doing that. If someone else opened a beauty supply, someone of African descent opened a beauty supply, someone else, and then they'll stop doing that because they would have no choice but to sell to us wholesale.
And like you said before, when we were talking, they actually go to India and get the hair, bring the hair to China, and then sell it to you all and to us in America.
That's right. Yep, they're the middleman.
Yeah, because I had a friend in Texas who was trying to sell hair, and I know that he and his team had to go to India.
Yes.
To establish a relationship in India there in order to have the hair shipped to them, as opposed to going to China.
Right.
And then having them to yes.
So one of the girls, I noticed in this one beauty supply that I would go to, that the whole staff changed. So I asked the person ringing me out, who was of Indian descent, I said, who owns this now? And he said, my uncle. And I said, oh, so you bought it. They bought it from the Koreans. I don't know their nationality. And he said, right. And I said, okay. So they knew me from coming in there a lot. So his sister's very, very nice. So she also bought, that was Diamond Beauty. And then she also bought Manhattan Beauty. So when I would go to Manhattan, she would always talk to me, always give me the discount. So when I told her I was opening a beauty supply, she helped me. And she told me that they're going to send you the bottom of the barrel. Everything that they don't buy, they're going to send it to you. They're going to offer it to you. And she's absolutely correct, because they'll send me messages saying they have something on sale, and that's the only time I get it is when it's the bottom, they can't sell it. And she told me, she said, the only reason we can't, because I said, why do you have to go through them? And she said, the only problem in India is they can't package it. They can't package it. So they'll send it to Korea and have it packaged, and Korea sends it to us. Or China.
It's funny, even though you go to India, they're also Asian.
Yeah.
In India, they're Asian as
they're
well.
right there at the line.
It's a different.
Right at the line.
Their nationality is Asian, but it's a different. They approach it differently. Colonel, I think you wanted to get in there.
Colonel
you
Thomas.
There? Every time we open the door for him. There you go.
it's almost as, when you were calling the supplier, it's almost you need to say, I'm the executive secretary for Miss Kim.
Yes. Yes. I actually tried to befriend someone to do that for me.
And sometimes you may have to do that. Have a front person.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend in Kansas who had this beautiful children's store, but she hired all whites to work the store.
Yeah.
And no one ever saw her. No one ever saw her face. But the product was selling so well,
Yes. One of the girls, she used to have a beauty supply in Virginia Beach, very short-lived, but she had a beauty supply, and I went in, I was across the street when I was in Virginia Beach at the time, and I went in to get a certain hair, Milky Way brand, and I asked her, you don't have the Milky Way? Because I like the texture, and she said, no, I tried to open an account with them. Now, this is good. Listen, I tried to open an account with them. They told me to send this. So she sent that. Then she called them and they said, well, send us this. And she sent that. She called them again and they wanted another piece. So the fourth time she called them, she said, I've sent you everything. The EIN, the tax number, the business license, I've sent everything. So why don't y'all open my account? And she said they told her, we don't sell to N-words wholesale, and hung up.
Oh, wow.
And I said,
you don't sell what now?
Whoa.
What did she say?
Colonel say.
What did she say?
They told her that we don't sell to N-words wholesale, and hung up.
Well, did you call the authorities?
Oh, it wasn't me. It was someone else in Virginia Beach. And that's what I said. I said this had to be like in 2013. Yeah, that's what I asked her. You should report it. You should put it on the door that you should tell them what was said, and don't, people will stop buying it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't
call
buy
Wavy
it.
10, Wavy somebody, and say, stand out in front of them and put it on their Facebook page that these people are discriminatory. Do not buy from them.
That's right. And then she went to another beauty supply where the lady she's from China, but she's married to an African-American male. So she's really nice when you go in there. So she went there and asked for some help, and she just wanted a contact information for something. And they gave her the contact. But the Chinese lady told her, don't tell anybody I gave you this. Don't call my name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they might be ostracized by their own people.
Right. So they really make it very, very hard.
Well, they are very closed people.
Yeah.
And they keep the business to themselves. And that's why that's how they make their money.
That's right.
Nobody gets in, nobody gets out.
Yeah.
Like the Godfather.
I had a girl who said to me that she goes to, her salon was next to a beauty supply, and a braid shop next to a beauty supply. And she said she goes in there every day to get hair. And one day she went in with a pack of hair to match up hair. And when she went up front to pay for the hair she had, he wanted to charge her for the hair. She said, we got into it. He looked at the video and saw that she came in with the hair. And then she said, should I go back to that place again? And I said, why would you ask, should you go back?
Mm-hmm.
He sees you every day. Mm-hmm. And he still thinks you're stealing in his face.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly.
No, I'd have went down to my lawyer and said, and then got the tape and say, this is defamation.
Yeah.
They accused me of something I did not do, and I need to get damages. Bam, done.
And every time we get situations like that, I saw one time on Facebook where the guy was pointing to the sign on the door because the person in there called the girl an N-word, and they shut it down. They protested and shut it down. But they here they accuse you of stealing and everything, and we still go back in there. Mm-hmm. They accused 2 young girls of stealing in Cocoa Beauty on Military and Greenbrier, and locked them in. And I said, that is kidnapping. Mm-hmm. And then the girls, they found out the girls weren't stealing. So I never knew what happened with that case, but we don't shut it down.
Exactly.
It should be shut down because they always think that we're stealing and there's no profile for a thief.
Yeah.
And then they have the pictures of the people. If I go in, I stopped going in, just going in with my wife when she was going in. Now she visits you. And I go in there and see all these pictures on the door, and they're describing, people who have, they said, committed a crime. But every one of them look like me. I said, I'm not going in this because I know some of these people probably didn't do, like you said, what they did. And to display them like that, it might have been somebody that was on something and opportunity, and they did it at one time, but then you got them up there on display as thieves and things like that. And it's not their right to do that, I don't think. But anyway,
that is still defamation. They were never charged. They were never charged.
That's right.
Never charged. And they got to prove that. And so that is defamation. So if your picture is on that wall, you need to get a lawyer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's not the post office.
And I think, Karen, all you're doing, and I hope more African Americans that are in that field or get into that field, or that will support you, knowing right now, sometimes your prices might have to be a little high. I mean, you go in one shop and their inventory is from wall to wall.
Oh my God!
Because they can have that, and they can sit on their inventory forever. And, a business person has to watch his inventory, because that is included with everything, all the other costs that they have.
That's
how much inventory you have in there and how fast it's moving. They don't have to worry about that. And all you're looking for is an equal chance. And that's where we come into play. We have to support. We have to pay a little higher now, in hope that more of us will get into that field. Right. And where the prices can level out. And it can
That's right. Equal. Once more of us get in, then we can definitely take our prices down because they'll have to take the prices down.
Mm-hmm. So Karen, Keith wants to know, what is your address on Airline? Keith Brown wants to know your address on Airline Boulevard.
Oh, great. Okay.
We're losing you again.
Here?
Okay. Now, yes.
Okay. It's 2554 Airline Boulevard. And I'm close to the Con Center, the furniture center.
Yes.
Yeah, Crown you know where the old giant open air market used to be.
Yes.
It's right in that area. And, and if you're a certain age, you know what I'm talking about. And it's down the street from Pep Boys also, right?
Right. Okay. It's the shopping center right beside.
At your Airline Boulevard facility, do you do the treatments and all there as well as on your location in Chesapeake, or do you have to go to Chesapeake for the treatments and to have the nutritional situations read and hair tested to see what's going on? Does that take place at Airline as well as your Chesapeake facility?
No, at Airline is just the store.
Just the store.
Just the store. And Chesapeake.
So Keith needs to know your address for your Chesapeake store.
Oh, for Chesapeake, okay, it's The Remedy, THE, The Remedy Hair Salon, and it's at 1133 Battlefield Boulevard North.
That's 1133 Battlefield Boulevard North. Yes. Keith, if you need to have a diagnosis, you need to go to Chesapeake.
Yes.
If you want to buy hair and hair products, then you come to Portsmouth.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You can Google the Remedy Hair Salon. You can Google Karen Brace. I'm getting ready to have a big seminar at my church August the 12th for wellness.
And what church is this?
This is Grove Church.
Grove, okay.
On West Norfolk Road. I'm having a trichologist, an esthetician, a workout person, myself as a trichologist, and chiropractor also. And we're all speaking for the seminar from 10 to 2.
Okay, that's good to know too.
And that date is August the 12th?
August 12th, 10 to 2, open to the public.
10 to 2.
And you, young people coming up that want to go into that. And Leah, do they still have that program at IC Northam?
Yes.
Or is that theirs? Okay.
Yes, they do.
Okay, because
Yes.
the reason I brought that up, because even after you go through that, and what you've done is expand, your knowledge of hair, and not in general, but beyond in general. You're
Right.
not only treating the hair, but some of the root causes. How about that word, root cause?
Root
Root
cause.
causes of
See what you did
Go,
there. See
go
what I did there?
James.
some of the root causes of hair loss, and that's important. You might even
Yes.
suggest to people you might not want to do those hair things, that they do to the hair. You might, look for other ways to do it, and tell people also you sell other things other than hair in your shop.
Yes, I do. I have because I had and let me go back because I've been trying to get in IC Norcom to speak to the students before COVID. And I don't
Well, you need to
charge.
get in touch with me, Karen, after this is over. I'll make sure I get your number and
Okay.
She's president of the Alumni Association, so she has a lot of pull there.
Oh, great. Oh, that's so good. I've tried and I it's so funny because I looked again yesterday and looked at Lavish Salon and I was like, I can't get in there. I'm gonna, I was giving up. But I did go to Votech Chesapeake, and I just offered a class for me to come in and talk to them because I want them to know if you're getting into hair, what you're going to see in the salon and what you need to direct someone to a doctor, because I've worked on 2 lawsuits and both times the stylist went down after they showed me the deposition and I read it, and I would say the stylist was wrong. There's no need in going to court. They were wrong. So you need to know what you're getting into. And so that was my whole idea, just going to speak to, I just left Empire Beauty School, just 2 classes there. I just want them to know, no charge. I just want to give information.
Yes.
So at the beauty supply, I have hair, but I also have product. A lot of the product, like the shea butters, they're natural. I have the African American man that makes these natural shea butters. I have vegan soap because I was looking for something with people who have frontal fibrosis and alopecia. That type of alopecia needed something natural and definitely, and something that was going to draw out. So I looked for charcoals and natural soaps. So I have those there. Of course, we have clippers and beads and wigs and all kinds of scarves, ties, and things. And Tom's wife bought my jacket that I was hoping nobody would buy so I could buy it, but she bought it. And it looked so good on her when she showed me the picture. And I have a few pieces of clothing there, a few pairs of shoes, just enough to get started, yeah. So it's a full iPhone. I have earpieces and things like that, chargers.
Okay, good to know.
Jewelry.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So all of you out there who are listening, you need to go on Airline Boulevard and give her give your support.
And someone asked me, why Portsmouth? And I said, I'm a Portsmouth girl. I was born and raised. Why not?
Why not Portsmouth?
Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always good to come back home.
Always.
Sometimes you have to branch out to discover other things, and then you can bring it back home.
Bring it home. That's
which
right.
is exactly what you did. And we appreciate you for that.
I always say I went and got cultured and came back home.
All right now. Okay now.
It doesn't always happen, but we understand why it doesn't sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say we're not actually putting down all other people that or cultures or communities that sell hair. But if you're in a community and you're not treating the people that you're serving or that are supporting you, it needs to be called out, and you don't need to continue to have the business from the people that you're not treating right. And I'm not saying it's not all the businesses, but it should be fair. And we've been fighting for equality and fairness all our lives.
Yes.
So why would we have to do that now in 2023? Just because we want to make a business, a living, just like anybody else, and to have a whole culture squeeze us out, this is just not fair. So we just wanted to bring light to, the issue. Many people don't know it's the issue because they just go because that's the only stores they see. That
Right.
there might be two right beside each other or three in a block. So you have no choice but to go there. But we're giving them an alternative here, and hopefully more to come.
Yes, I hope so. If anyone wants to know about opening a beauty supply, I'm an open book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, you even willing to share,
Yes,
what you've learned. Not
definitely.
everybody does that as well, but you make it and make it good. Make it fair for other people, or make it
Right.
a little easier for other people. Show them the way.
That's right.
Okay, Thomas, you still there? Oh, go ahead, Leah. You go.
No, I was saying if Colonel was still with us. I think we've lost him.
That's what he got. He got it in. He got it in.
Well, let me ask you
go
this
ahead.
about eyebrows. There are individuals who may lose their eyebrows due to cancer or medical conditions. What can they do in order to, instead of drawing in the morning, what can they do to regain their eyebrows?
Tattooing them on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to regain it, there are different modalities that you can do, including cold laser therapy. There's a product called Lasthesis that you can put on your eyelashes. You also can put it on your brow to see if your hair can grow back in. If it's a matter of scarring, you're not really a candidate for a transplant. But if it's not scarring, I've seen eyebrows transplanted.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. The one gentleman came into, I did intern hours. When I was a trichologist, I did intern hours like everywhere. I went to Whole Foods. I went to the hair transplant place. I went to a dermatologist's office. It was different things. It was really fun. So the eyebrows, a gentleman came in and he said he wanted to look like Genuine. And when she finished in transplanting eyebrows and sideburns and everything, he needed a new ID card. He needed to look like himself.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And that's probably better than the tattoos, is it?
Some of the tattoos do wear off after a while. The ink does wear off because you're constantly, you're washing your face twice a day, you're putting makeup on. Some of them do. So I would think that would be better because once that hair grasps hold, get roots, it's going to grow.
Yeah, because I went to a young lady to get my eyebrows done. And the next day I looked like I had been in a battle. My eyes were swollen, my face was swollen. I had to go to the doctor, I had to get antibiotics, and everybody thought that I had been in a fist fight with someone.
Oh, you had an allergic reaction.
Yeah, so I think it's good that if you're going to get those things, that you first have a test.
Yes.
Which I should have done. I should have had a test first, just a small area, to see if there would be an allergic reaction to it. But I had a terrible allergic reaction to it. And my daughter says all over vanity.
And it's so funny how you say, please have a test, because when we're putting color in people's hair,
exactly,
we always tell them to come and get a test first to see if you're allergic to the color.
Exactly.
And some people just don't want to. They just forego. And I tell them that, well, I'm not going to do it because I don't have time for court. So I just say all money and good money. I just let it go. Yeah. So that's definitely needed to have a test done first to see if you are going to have any type of reaction to things like that.
Yeah. And the lighter note on the lady who put the Gorilla Glue in her hair.
Oh my gosh.
And then wanted to sue Gorilla Glue after she put the Gorilla Glue in her hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can do some strange
I can see her walking around like this.
Yeah. You can. Oh my God.
Stuck to her head. But and then you mentioned that color, getting tested, because it's very popular now. You see people and they change the color in their hair so often.
Yes.
You might every week, and the colors are it's not like blonde, or just dyeing it black. You see all these different colors.
These colors.
I mean, is there a certain coloring or something? It's not like coloring eggs for Easter, because it almost looked like it with the colors. I mean, is there something they should be doing to make sure they're not damaging? Because I know maybe a lot of them are doing that at home, and then changing those colors weekly or monthly, that has to be cause some kind of a damage, even though it's popular to do that.
So when you're putting that color on, those we call them fun colors, all the different colors. If you get it done with a professional, they will definitely know better on what to do. You have to highlight the hair first. So when you're highlighting it, you're taking off your natural color. You're actually taking your color off. And then you put a fun color on. That color is a semi. Once you put, when you're taking your natural color off, you're using bleach, powder lightener. You're actually stripping your color off with bleach. Then you put the other color, the fun colors on. Those are not chemicals. So they wear off, they wash out, and then you can turn around and put another color on. But once your hair grows back, grows out back to your normal color, you have to bleach it again to put the fun colors back on. Now I have a girl, my other stylist in the salon. The way I do it, I do a soft lift on her by using shampoo in the powder lightener. We call it flash lightning, and just let it sit. And anytime you're doing anything to your hair, chemical wise, you are causing some damage. Regardless, you don't see it, but you're causing some damage. Natural is always the best. But I took her color off and put a color on, and I did it so many times on her. And in between, I conditioned her hair and I used protein, and her hair stayed on. And I actually put her on my PowerPoint showing the different dates and how close her hair was. And she was at the event, and I said, there she is in the back. So when I use Influence Hair Care Company, and that's a Black-owned hair care company. I love that. So I use all of their products, and knowing how to use it is very, very important.
So and how do you get the Influence products?
They're only sold in salons.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I don't even put it in a beauty supply because I respect the company, that much that they want it to be a professional product only sold in salons. So
and the black castor oil.
Oh,
a lot of people are selling the black castor oil.
Oh my God.
No, that's a no.
So the black castor oil, I took a bottle with me to a seminar and held it up, and I said, see what this says? It says carrier oil. So black castor oil is so thick. And when I took my scope and I put it on someone's scalp, and it magnifies it like 400 times. And I said, I was at the dermatologist's office, and I said, what is on your scalp? And she said, black castor oil. She said, it does that? It was so thick on her scalp. And I said, you see, that's why you shouldn't have it. It will clog your pores. So it's a carrier oil. A carrier oil means that you're supposed to mix it with something at a certain percentage. There's actually a class for mixing oils. When you mix them, you're supposed to mix certain percentage to get the effect that you want. But we have, you know how we do. We got that YouTube University, and people just mix what they want to mix and they put it on. And so the black castor oil being so thick, it's not good for your scalp.
Wow.
Not at all.
But yet they're pushing it, saying, especially for lock hair,
it is the latest fad.
Yes.
At one time, the fad was put Massengill douche in your hair.
Yes.
Okay? Then the other thing was put Vicks Vapor Rub in your hair.
Well, I haven't heard that one.
Oh yeah, that was one. Then it was dirty rice water. Now it's black castor oil. So we call that the warrior. So strong, so thick, So it's always the latest fad, but you have to, I always tell people, do that critical thinking, because rice water became so popular that people actually started making stuff and selling it in the stores. Because they knew that we jump on everything that comes up. We're so gullible to those things, and it frustrates me because we have to stop and read these things, read these ingredients. If rice water is so good for your hair with nutrients and stuff, well, why don't you just eat the rice?
Get it into your system.
You get it in your system.
And it'll get into your hair.
That's exactly it. Hair is grown from blood, and what's in your blood is hydrogen, oxygen, and nutrients, and the nutrients would be the food you eat. So if it's that great, then why don't you just eat it? But rice is full of starch, right? So that
Yes, it
starch
is.
would cause your blood problem. So it would definitely stick to your hair and be the same problem.
Well, my family, we Geechee folks, girl. We eat rice all the time. You know, we're from the Gullah land. We're Gullah people.
And that's the main thing about. Of course, I was looking at How in the Hog on Prime about food. It was about food and how we started the food. How we eat the food and how we season it and everything, and it's so good. But we have to realize that sometimes that food, what we're eating, is causing a lot of our problems. So we have to realize that sometimes we got to stop that.
Yeah.
Oh. I know. The rice turns into sugar and, it's starchy. That's diabetes.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're putting into your body.
You have to know.
That determines a lot of things.
Yes. A lot. I mean, a lot of things.
And then the hair tells the true story.
Yes, it does.
once you get it into your system.
Yes. One of my clients came in and she said, I walked up to her and I didn't touch her. I walked up to her and I stopped and I could smell her hair because she has seborrheic dermatitis, which is that thick dandruff. And hers has a smell to it. So that's when it gets real bad. So I said to her, what did you eat this weekend? And she said, you make me sick, because I could tell, She went to a party and she had some cake with frosting and it's coming out her scalp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, your lower intestines and your scalp have a direct correlation. So it's going to show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And well, as we end the show,
this is truly a lesson.
What education and hair. This is, people don't pay attention to that. It's just like how important it is to take care of your teeth, or how it can be related to heart issues if you have bad teeth. And a lot of people don't. And these are those few things people don't, because it's all connected.
It is
all. So it's important to take care of your teeth. It's important to take care of your hair and be educated on what you're doing. And the more education you have, because you got a lot of kitchen
kitchens.
Kitchen out there.
In the new Afro dictionary that African American language book that they're coming up with, kitchen is in there. Kitchen is in there, and they explain how we came up with the term of the kitchen
for the neck. They should put kitchen in there.
Yes. But you know what? As I was driving home this afternoon, it's NDRE was singing "I Am Not My Hair."
Yes.
Well, I guess we really are our hair.
We really are.
Believe it or not, we are our hair.
That's right. So, we really are.
Why you think everybody wants to touch it?
I know. And you know what's amazing is that when I was in Israel, every place I went, they wanted to touch my hair.
Oh my goodness.
Every place I went, even one guy who was bald, he said he took my hair and threw my hair over the top of his hair.
Oh my goodness.
To take a picture. And then everybody said, well, why is everybody giving you gifts? I said, I have no idea. But every place I went, people were giving me gifts, but they just wanted to touch my hair, Wow. And I was in the elevator in New York when I was at Sylvia's restaurant in New York. And, a lot of the Asians, the Japanese really eat at Sylvia's. And all they wanted to do, can I touch your hair? Can I touch your hair? No. You cannot touch my hair, So.
No, I don't know where your hands go. I don't like people touching my hair. You touch everything in the building, then you want to touch my hair.
Touch my hair.
I don't like that.
Some people like it.
I give them James' head. I say, just rub James' head. It's okay.
But anyway, we really appreciate you, and maybe you come back. We want to follow you and see how your business is going. You're a successful business person in the salon. We really want you to be successful here in Portsmouth, especially. And hopefully people will see this and come visit you, or people that are aspiring to get into the business, they'll take your route. Don't just jump into it. Get these other little certificates and degrees, that are related to hair, because it's more than just, just putting your hands in there and trust. You got to know what's going on.
Right.
With each person.
Do you do natural hair as well? I mean, locks?
Yes. Retwist locks.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many men do you have?
I have to come and have mine tested, huh? See what's going on inside my body, James.
Yeah. Let her look in your eyes. You can tell.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway, I'm not making a joke of that because I've heard that before. You can.
They can look in the eyes and tell something is
are the
going on.
windows to the soul.
Yes.
Yes. Indeed.
Definitely.
Well, thanks again, and we appreciate you. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk is always here, and I'm away from home, but I'll hold this cup for our voice,
our community, and Thomas, our future Thomas. I'm holding it for you, Thomas. and we salute you. And Karen, I'm going to come by and check you out.
Okay, I appreciate it.
How often are you at the Airline Boulevard store?
Usually Sundays after 8 o'clock service. I go sometimes on Sunday. Sometimes my husband goes because he wants me to just take a break because I'm always doing stuff. I still try to do a lot of volunteer work too because I mean that's just needed.
The rent we pay for living, darling.
I know.
It's the rent we pay.
And don't forget, August 12th is my the seminar at Grove Church.
And the time again?
10 to 2.
10 to 2. And once again, give them the location and how they can get in touch with you at your facility in Chesapeake, as well as your facility on Airline Boulevard.
So the facility in Chesapeake is called the Remedy Hair Salon. And you can actually go online and schedule appointments and see pricing and everything. It's vagaro.com, VAGARO.com/The Remedy Hair Salon.
That's V as in victory?
V as in victory. AGARO.
Okay.
Vagaro.com/The Remedy Hair Salon.
Okay.
Okay. And then and that's located at 1133 Battlefield North. If you go south, there's 1133 South, and it will put you in the wrong spot. So it's 1133 Battlefield Boulevard North. And the Textured Crowns Beauty Supply is at 2554 Airline Boulevard in the great town of Portsmouth.
Okay, Portsmouth girl brought it on home.
Yeah.
What a great thing to do.
Yes.
So Portsmouth folks, come out and support Portsmouth homegrown Karen Brace as she has opened up this store. Let's support her. Prices may have a little difference than what you get in the other paper store, but you have to remember she can't buy it at the price in which they buy it. So
I cannot. It's going to change.
It is going to change.
And also she is giving you the information. If you have groups or organizations that like to have her come there and do a seminar, education is key in every area. So especially with our hair. And some people are suffering some things unnecessarily because they just avoiding taking care of their hair. They just think they can color it and everything. So I can't say that enough.
And a lot of them think that just, well, I just lost my hair and I just lost my hair, but it means so much more. My mother had, in my family, is the scarring type of alopecia. And I'm able to keep my hair because I changed a lot of things that she did, I didn't do. And when she would tell me her scalp was sore and I said, that's inflammation. So that means your body's inflamed. And when you're inflamed, you break down cells. When you break down cells, pathogens move in, which can be cancer. And she got cancer. So I had a young girl who just had a baby and she had only about 2 patches of hair in her head, and she brought her blood work in, and her C-reactive proteins that measures your inflammation, it actually said high. And you keep that high, you can get heart disease. So people have to realize that your hair is not just, I just lost my hair. It tells you something. Something's going on. I think about Sinbad and how I said, Sinbad's losing his hair. And a year later, he stroked. And not to say that they're dead all, but it was an indication that something's going on. And then Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
He lost his hair. So Jamie Foxx had the transplant surgery. I could tell from a movie I saw the line in the back of his head. And so it didn't work, or did it work? he had the surgery. So that told me his hair was gone. So next thing I know, he had a stroke. So it's things that you have to look at, and your body can manifest these things. I thought it was 5 years because I was low magnesium. And when I found out when I was in nutrition classes, when I found out, I started having all those symptoms that I was reading about. And so I went to the doctor, and of course, the number is 1.6 for low. I was 1.8. So the doctor says you're in range, but I'm in the low end of in range. And that's when I was feeling all the symptoms. So I corrected it myself by taking some magnesium. So I said, wow, that was 5 years ago when I started having those symptoms. But when I went on a wellness cruise, a 7-day wellness cruise, and had vegan doctors and naturopathic doctors and naturopathic doctors and medical doctors giving all seminars. It was awesome. One of the doctors said, your body can manifest symptoms 10 to 20 years before it actually breaks down. And I thought 5 years was something. So please just check yourself when your hair is coming out. It's just something to just check. You know,
yeah,
just check.
And Karen, also physically it can affect you, but some people are really emotionally attached to their hair, and it can cause some sort of mental issue, mental health issues. And I remember I didn't have a big issue with it, but I was trying to hold on to my hair as long as I could. And I looked in the mirror one day, and I look. If everybody, I might date myself. I looked like Bozo. The hair was coming out here, and nothing was on the top. I said, do I want to look like Bozo, or do I just want to accept what's going on here?
Right.
So, a lot of people can accept that. Men too. That's two things that are popular. But
I've had
and
people
that shows you the emotional attachment people have to that.
Right. They
hold
cry
on to it to the end.
Yeah, when they come in, they cry in the office, and I feel so bad because some of them, they say, I wish I could have gotten to you sooner. And, but I wasn't on the scene then. So, I feel so bad when they cry. And then on top of that, insurance won't pay because insurance says that trichology is cosmetic. But I've had people that I've, said, oh, you have discoid lupus erythematosus. That's not cosmetic. So that's what they think it. But like you said, it's mental, it's emotional. So it's not cosmetic, even if it's not an illness internally, your hair is coming out or something. It's still something I think they need to reconsider. When they come to me, the diet, I tell them that you need to pick up on this and take that and eat this. They get better. You think the insurance company would be like, oh yeah, that's good, we'll pay because they'll stay healthy. They don't. They don't.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I just can't get enough.
Gotta catch up with the
anyway,
times.
we gotta end it though. But again, we appreciate you. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you next time. We'll have you back.
Thank you so much.
And I'm
Thank you.
glad we
Thank
ran
you.
into you.
Yes. Tell your wife I said hi.
And Karen, I was extremely tired when I came on. I was falling apart.
You look a lot different than you did.
And I tell you what, you gave me
woke
energy.
you up.
You woke me up, honey. You woke me up. You gave me life. I appreciate that. And someone else said, wait a minute, just a minute. Someone else just said, let me read it for you. As a remote viewer, I can feel the light from her spirit. That's a good woman. I'm absorbing the positive. It feels good. Mike ATCE.
Yeah, that's
Mike
short for it.
ATC,
He has one of those long names.
Long names. Thank you, Mike. I can feel the energy too, Mike. She gave me energy because when I got up, when I turned the cameras off, I had to get up to get something to wake me up. But you did it. You did it, darling. You did it, Karen. You did
Thank you.
Well, you know where it came from. Where did Samson get his strength from?
Where the who? Oh, the hair.
Samson.
Hair.
Samson. Yes, he cut his hair, but he cut that strength.
Yes. Cut that strength. Take care of your hair. All right. Take care, everybody. We appreciate you again.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Take care. Let me